wrestling from today in the past. It's gonna be a blast. Jonny and Harmon are the Main Event Podcast.
Hey, Main Eventers. Ooh, I love that song. My goodness. Our intro and outro music is the bomb. You guys should check them out. Follow the Fox is the name of the band. Our good buddies Dylan and Sarah. They're based out of Denver, Colorado. I usually do this at the end of the show, but figured I'd give them a plug right at the start because I love that music, boys and girls. Love it. Johnny Fashion here, going solo tonight. Super awkward, super weird. I feel like I'm just talking to nobody, just talking to myself down here in my basement. Super weird. No Harmon this week. No big Bad Harmon. He is, what's he doing? He's dog sitting / house sitting. So he doesn't have his equipment with him. And, he just needs a week off. Everybody needs a week off every once in a while. I'd like to get one of those, but the show must go on. So I'm going to go solo. We'll see how it goes. This has potential to be the lowest rated show we've ever done. So bear with me. I'd like to just talk a little bit about pro wrestling tonight, That's what we do here on the show. That's what I'm going to do here. So we're going to talk a little WWE, because that's an easy one. That's a softball pitch. Everybody's got their thoughts on that. So we'll talk Extreme Rules a little bit. Going to talk about some shows coming up around here. Going to talk Vacation Land Cup, Let's Wrestle. We're going to do a big Vacation Land Cup preview the week of. So next week. We're going to have Back Row Mafia member Alex come on. And myself, Harmon, Alex, we're going to dive in. We're going to give our predictions. We're going to dive right in to the Vacation Land Cup of all the matches, do a little preview show. We haven't done one of those in a while, but this is pretty monumental. The Vacation Land Cup is going to be pretty cool. It might be the coolest show of the summer, so we'll dive into an awesome preview there. Let's see, what else? Before we dive in, though, let's do some quick plugs. Real quick plugs. Actually, I don't know if they can be real quick, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Like always, you guys can find us on social media at Main Event Pod. That's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You guys can listen to us. Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, wherever you guys get your podcasts from. Chances are we're there, clogging up those airwaves, baby. You guys can give us a ring. A hotline is something that we have with this crazy technology. That number is 929-260-3099. Give that a call. Give it a text. That's going to go right to our phones. We have an account. We're going to check that stuff. We're going to listen to what you people have to say. And if you want it played on the air, let us know. We'll play you on the air. We'll give you some shout-outs. We'll answer questions. Whatever you guys want. Again, the number, 929-260-3099. Teespring. I want to talk about Teespring real quick. Our good buddy Dalton Hemingway. He designed up really great design for us. Kind of a New Japan Pro Wrestling parody shirt. Kings of Maine. Main Event Podcast shirt. We got it on some tees, some V-necks, some tank tops, some beach towels. You buy a beach towel, bring it to the beach. I might hit up the beach tomorrow. I don't know. Got the day off. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So anyway, Teespring, we are on there. Buy some stuff. It helps support this podcast, and that's a really great thing, guys. Because this podcast is so much fun. We don't ever want to stop doing it, but man, sometimes expenses get up there, and we pay for a lot of this out of pocket. So anything you guys can do to help. I mean, we're not looking for handouts. I mean, if you guys want to buy some t-shirts, you're going to get a cool t-shirt in return. But if you can't, you can't. I get it. I totally get it. Trust me when I say money's tight. We all get it. Let's see. Speaking of cool t-shirts and other apparel alike, go to strongstylebrand.com/maineventpod and buy some stuff. Pick some stuff out there. Get some cool tees, get some shoes, get some leggings, get whatever you want. StrongStyleBrand.com. They've got amazing stuff over there. Enter code Main Event Pod at checkout. You're going to get 10% off. Speaking of StrongStyleBrand.com, or just Strong Style Brand in general, our good buddies, the Maine State Posse, just became ambassadors as well. So welcome to the fam, finally. Jeez, long overdue. Definitely well worth it, though. Well deserving. Man, MSP in the SSB. I love it. Those guys are so good. You guys know them. But anyway, I believe they've got a code out as well if you guys want to use that. If you guys would rather support them, that's great, man. Hey, we're one big happy family. I believe their code is MSP. So use that. You'll get 10% off as well. And you'll support them. So also, I want to plug some shows coming up. Vacationland Cup, Friday, July 27th, Westbrook Armory, like usual. Holy shit, what a show. Like I mentioned, we're going to dive right into the thick of it on next week's episode, me, Harmon, and Alex. But just to cover quickly, I mean, Whiskey Dick versus Free to Think, PCO versus Chris Dickinson. Then you get the tournament, which is just nuts. It's a one-night tournament, so it's got these 4 matches, and then the winner of each of those matches advances on to the final round to crown the Vacationland Cup winner. And it's going to be absurd. And then, of course, you get the cage match between Ace Romero and Anthony Green. Ace Romero still seeing, like, crazy exposure from that bounce a few weeks ago. I still see articles popping up, like, left and right. He's on ABC News. He's on ESPN. He's on SportsCenter. It's crazy. It's crazy how big that is blowing up right now. But yeah, they're going to be in the first ever cage match in Limitless Wrestling. There's some tickets still available. Not many, though, so get on it. If you plan on going, do not roll the dice and do not show up without a ticket and roll that dice, because you might be shit out of luck. Sorry, but it's most likely going to sell out. Let's see. Speaking of other shows, Let's Wrestle Volume 2 coming back to Orono, Maine. Harmon and I were just there the other day doing commentary. And last episode, we kind of dug deep into the results of that show. We had a blast, and we will definitely be back there. So Orono, Maine, August 17th at 7 p.m. It's at the American Legion Post 84. Tickets, again, limitlesswrestling.com. You can get them there. It's called Let's Wrestle Volume 2, Young Till We Die. And holy moly, Anthony Green making the trip up there. So we're going to see Anthony Green twice in a row here. Returning also is the Masshole Mike McCarthy and Fox Vineyard. And Zanely Rude making their debut up there in Orono, Maine. And then I believe it's the only match announced so far is Calvin Strange and Todd Harris versus DK and Double A, Danger Kid and Aiden Agro of MSP. That's going to be a hell of a match. Some bad blood brewing there between Strange, Harris, and MSP. So it's going to be a really insane show. Like I said, Harmon and I are going to be there doing commentary again. I believe we're going to bring our buddy Dalton around again, making the trip up. It's always fun to make these road trips with as many people as possible. Makes for good conversation. I mean, unless Harmon's just going to fall asleep on the ride home. But, you know, we'll leave it up to him. He's not on the show. He has no rebuttal. No rebuttal at all. Missed you, buddy. I wanted to give some quick shout-outs to some other podcasts and websites who really support us. I know that we get mentioned quite a bit on some of these podcasts, and I'm really bad at returning the favor. It's not because I don't appreciate it. It's just usually Harmon and I start yucking it up, and I just forget. And I never have stuff written down, but I've actually written a bunch of stuff down because I was not nervous about the show, but I just knew that it was going to be a hard episode without anybody on the other end to really talk back to me. So I did write some things down, and I wrote a bunch of places down who really like us and we really like them, and it's nice to kind of cross promote with them. So first off, I want to say big thank you to the Limitless Wrestling podcast. I mean, Limitless Wrestling in general has done so much for us. But the Limitless Wrestling podcast with Randy, of course, and Alba and Danger Kid, they mention us like every week, you know, and they plug us every week, and we could not be more thankful for it. I mean, you guys are the best. They do such a great show. Their last episode with DL Hurst. Speaking of DL Hurst, we are going to have DL on the show in a couple weeks. He's going to be our August interview. I know that Limitless just had him on, but we'll try to cover some different things. And their episode is great. I listened to it today. They covered so much stuff, so it's gonna be challenging to kind of get some different topics there. But he's got a lot to say. We have a lot to say. So, and we love DL Hurst. He's we wish him a speedy recovery. If you didn't know, and for some reason, if you don't listen to the Limitless Wrestling podcast, which you should, you're crazy if you don't. He broke his leg doing a springboard moonsault to the outside floor. He smacked it on a guardrail. So big bummer. Broke tib fib. I actually did that. 15 years ago. I want to say now. So I had that same injury. Obviously not doing a moonsault, but playing high school football, I had the same injury. So maybe we'll talk about that in a couple weeks and compare battle scars. But his is actually a little bit worse. His actually pierced the skin, so that's like a million times worse. So, but anyway, speedy recovery wishes to DL Hurst. I believe he said 6 to 9 months before we'll see him in a ring again, which is a huge bummer, but it could be worse. So take your time, man. Get back into shape, and we'll see you then. Another one, the Wrestling Podcast About Nothing. Those guys always have our back. Brian Malonis and Mike Crockett. Congratulations to Mike Crockett, by the way. Just had a baby. Well, he didn't, but his wife did. So big congrats to him, and thank you guys for always having our back and in the major sport. Let's see who else we got. The Blade Job. Those guys are great. Always supporting us. We've met those guys a couple times at wrestling shows. They usually do. I believe they usually go to like chaotic shows, but they've made the trek up here to Maine and seen some Limitless stuff. So we've met them there. Another one I mentioned, ProWrestlingPost.com. I believe I quickly mentioned them last week. It's my boy Mark Madison. Mark is just one of the hardest working guys in wrestling, man. He puts in so much time and effort into collecting data and like getting interviews, and so he started ProWrestlingPost.com, and it's a great place for official interviews and blogs, and they're going to do a podcast, just check them out. They're on Twitter at ProWrestlingPST. Check them out, follow them. He's got a couple of guys that he's doing it with, but I believe Mark is like the head guy. He started it, so he's a good dude. There's a lot of good people in the pro wrestling community that I've met along the way, and Mark is definitely one of those guys that stands out. Like it's funny because we've never really worked together. Like we've always talked about working together. He was on a podcast. I want to say like a year ago. They had a pretty steady podcast going, and we would always chat like, "Hey, you got to come on my show. I'll come on yours." And it just never came to fruition. But we talk a lot, kind of behind the scenes, through Messenger and stuff. So that's something that will probably come down the line, getting him on the show and me contributing, hopefully maybe to ProWrestlingPost.com in some weird way. So good follow there. And then the last one I want to mention is Off the Hop Rope, which is a really fun podcast. The premise of it's really cool. Top Shelf Troy Nelson, Abominable CPA, and Smart Mark Sterling, they watch a pro wrestling match and they drink a beer that is, in some weird way related to that match in comparison. So it's a very cool premise. I really like it. All three of those guys are really, really funny guys, and I hope to do something with those guys too. I know I've reached out to Top Shelf and asked him if I brought some Norway Brewing Company beer to the Vacationland Cup as a gift for him and CPA and Smart Mark. Maybe I could, in some weird way, contribute to that show, maybe be on the show, or I don't know. And he was like, absolutely, we'll talk about it. So it should be cool. At least, it'll be a good plug for Norway Brewing Company, because they're fantastic. It's the tiny little brewery right down the street from my house in downtown Norway, Maine. And they are phenomenal, and great food too. I wasn't planning on plugging them, but great food, great dining experiences. And their beer is just top notch. They've just started to really bottle it. They would do growlers and do tap, obviously, but they just started to bottle it in 4-packs, and it is phenomenal. Like, just phenomenal beer. I believe you can get a mixed 4-pack now. So if you're ever, for some strange reason, ever in the town of Norway, one, come say hi to me, but two, let's meet up for a beer at Norway Brewing Company, because it's just amazing. That's really it, I think, for the plugs. I know that kind of lasted longer than it should have, but screw it. It's still going to be a short show because I can't talk all night. I do need Harmon here, to take up some airtime. But all right. So let's start with Extreme Rules. I watched Extreme Rules. I don't know how many people did. It was okay. It was okay. There were times where I thought I was watching a bad episode of Raw, but then there were other times I thought were really, really good. I thought that the Almas Sin Cara match actually was really good, and I actually saw them in Augusta when they were just up here. They were great. They were really good. They put on a good show. Cien is really coming into his own here. I think that guy will be a really good contender on SmackDown. I think he'll kind of explode in a similar way that like Jinder did, kind of out of nowhere. I mean, I think people probably have higher hopes for Cien than they did Jinder, because Jinder was so out of the blue. But I think he's going to go on to do something. I bet he will capture a title at the beginning of next year, at the latest. Like, I'm saying by March of next year, he will have a United States title reign under his belt, guaranteed. Let's see. I won't really go down every match, but I thought it was really cool that the B team won the titles. That was something that came out of the blue, totally. Did not see that coming. That on paper looks like a classic squash match. But I kind of dig it. I don't know. I think Axel and Dallas they've been around for a while, and they deserve something like this. Those guys are troopers. They work their asses off. They will do whatever they'll do whatever they are told. They will change gimmicks on the drop of a hat, and it paid off. I think that it really paid off for them. I don't know how long they're going to hold these titles. I can't imagine for very long. It kind of reminds me of the Heath Slater Rhino bit, where it was so shocking that they won the belts and they held on to them for a little bit, but you knew it wasn't going to last for any kind of length of time. But good for them. I do like both of them. I think that they're great. The Matt Hardy Bray Wyatt pairing I love, but it just seems they're not really doing much with it. I would like more of a story angle, I guess, with it, but they're not really doing too much with it. And I hope that they're going to stay together, because that would have been really quick if they just tagged and then are just going to break up and feud again. I hope that's not the case, because that would be a bummer. But it wasn't a high-profile match, and I get it. They can't all be high-profile matches, but I don't know, like Finn wins with a roll-up, like a small package. Like, come on. And why is Baron wrestling in a dress shirt? Like, can he still just be, I know he's Constable Corbin, but can he just, put his gear on? Like, what's that about? Why? Like, I don't know. It's just weird. I feel like sometimes they just, they make guys go so into a different character. Like, he's still the same guy. Like, I don't know why he's not wearing his normal gear. Like, why is he going to wear a dress shirt now to the ring? Doesn't make any sense. Cut it out. Carmella, she defeated Asuka to retain the Women's Championship. I don't love what's happening here, mainly because of Ellsworth. Well, one, the shark cage thing is fucking dumb. Like, it's just dumb all around. I don't like it at all. Every time they've used it, I think it's been super dumb. I don't know what the deal is with it. Like, did they just find it in storage somewhere? And we're like, oh, we got the shark cage. Let's put it to good use. We made a toy of it, so I guess we got to use it. Like, Mattel has a toy version of it, so come on. It doesn't make sense. Ellsworth, I think, is terrible. I think his whole shtick really ran its course, God, like a year ago. They just should have just stopped. I think it really takes away from Carmella, and there was this big debate the other night in like the one wrestling group that I'm part of now, where people were saying Carmella sucks and all this bullshit. Here's my spiel on Carmella. I don't think Carmella sucks at all. I think Carmella is actually really good, and I'll explain. Is she great in the ring? No. She's okay. She doesn't like. It's not unwatchable in the ring. I think this match was definitely shaky. I don't know if it was like the language barrier or what, but this match was definitely shaky, for sure. Ellsworth was kind of really being a piece of shit and really like prolonging a lot of his spots and trying to put the spotlight on him. I just don't like him, like, at all. Like, when he was just the underdog guy, you kind of felt for him. You were kind of like, okay, he's getting squashed by Braun. Like, okay, the any man with two hands has a fighting chance thing. Like, that was a great slogan, but everything has to come to an end, and they're just beating a dead horse with this guy. He's not that talented to still be stuck in WWE or to still be around in WWE. And then I think it takes so much away from Carmella, because I think Carmella really is talented. She's really good on the mic. She's super athletic. I mean, she's obviously super attractive. Like, she can do cool things on her own. She doesn't need James Ellsworth. Like, and that's what I kind of feel bad about. It's like everything that she's kind of accomplished right now, they've stuck this goob in here with her. Like, the Money in the Bank ladder match, beating Asuka. Like, Ellsworth was involved in all that. So when she looks back at her career, 20 years from now or whatever, and she sees what she accomplished, and hopefully she accomplishes a lot more. But when she looks back at her accomplishments now, they're all connected to James Ellsworth, which I just think is awful. And to be honest with you, and I don't want to bring up like a bigger picture, but I think it's like a really sexist move. Like, I just like, why Ellsworth? Why this guy? Of all people, just let Carmella shine the way she does. And Asuka's awesome, so like, why can't they just have a match? Why do you gotta insert this bonehead James Ellsworth just trying to steal time from these girls? I just don't get it. Anyway, moving on. Shinsuke won the U.S. title in very quick fashion. 6 seconds over Jeff Hardy. Did the low blow before the bell rang. And, I mean, I love it. I love it. Maybe it's because it was Jeff Hardy. And I don't have anything against Jeff Hardy. I've never been the biggest Jeff Hardy guy. I mean, I like Jeff. I think he's fine. But I was never a big fan of his championship run back in the day. I've always preferred him to tag with his brother, but I didn't mind this because Jeff has accomplished so much in his career. I think it was the perfect guy to do it with, to do like a 6 second like super cheat match with, and it just showed what kind of guy Shinsuke has become, and I love it. I love it so much. I think that he's so dirty and nasty, but the whole time he's just like cool about it. Like he did the low blow, and he was just like, oh, he just strutted away. Like, oh, what happened? I don't know. He's just so cool, so sly. I think it's very cool. I hope he holds on to that U.S. title for a long time. I don't know what the deal is with the Randy Orton thing. That I don't like at all. I don't get why Randy Orton still gets crazy pops. Like when he came out the other night, like he got a crazy pop. I don't know why. He's stale as fuck right now. And has been probably for the last 6 years. Like he hasn't done anything interesting in a long time. But WWE just keeps pushing him constantly. So I don't know what's going on with his involvement in this United States Championship title picture. Don't really get it. But hopefully he's not the guy that takes it off Shinsuke, because that would just be boring as hell. And I really want to see Shinsuke have a lengthy run with this. KO gets tossed off the cage by Braun Strowman and wins. By escaping the cage, I guess. But what a way to win, That was a crazy spot. Braun just throwing him from the top of the cage onto the announcer's table. Do you guys think that KO is in the doghouse? Because he's taking like crazy spots like that. He had to go in the porta potty the week before. Like I feel like KO should be doing better things. And I know there's a lot of guys. They've got a lot of guys. The roster is stacked. I get that. But KO I think is something special. And to see him just be, I don't want to say buried, because I hate using that term, because he's not buried. He's on TV every week, and he's got memorable segments, and that was a memorable moment, him getting thrown off the cage. But I feel like KO is a guy who should really have a good title run, another one coming up, and whether that be just any title, tag title, U.S. title, like IC belt, anything, like something. I think that he is such a talented guy. And for some strange reason, it just doesn't seem like Vince likes him. I don't know. And maybe it's not Vince. Maybe I'm way off. I have no idea. But it just seems like he's not at the level that myself and I know a lot of fans feel the same way, but where he should be. And Braun, what the fuck's going on with Braun? He's got the belt. I mean, he's got the briefcase. And obviously Brock's not around, so he can't cash in, but why is he picking on KO? Braun is just all over the place. I don't think that they had a good plan for Braun when they gave him that briefcase. He's like just picking fights with, 1 week Finn's his buddy, the next week he's wanting a tag team match against Finn. Like he's just all over the place. And I don't know. I don't think that they know what the hell to do with him. So I will guarantee this, though. I want to make a prediction right now, and it's not a very bold prediction, but because I think a lot of people share this. But he's going to cash in at SummerSlam. This whole stupid thing with Reigns and Lashley, I hate it. First of all, I think it's awful that these two guys are going to fight for the number one contendership. And then one of them's going to move on to face Brock at SummerSlam. It's going to be Lashley, I'm assuming. Like, what a dick thing to do to put Roman versus Lesnar at SummerSlam again. Like, this is... Remember when, a couple years back, when Randy Orton fought John Cena for, like, the umpteenth time, and everybody was just so sick of it? Like, that's the level that I feel like we're getting to now with Roman and Brock. And especially Roman, because he's there all the time. And, I mean, the boos he got the other night on Raw was... I mean, he gets booed all the time, but, man, the boos were just so loud the other night. Like, how do you not see it? Because he's not doing heel shit to get booed. He's just coming out supposed to be a face. It'd be different if, like, KO was doing heel shit and getting booed. And you'd be like, wow, he's a really good heel. Let's keep pushing him as a heel. But the whole Roman thing just boggles my mind. Like, why they constantly put him there. And don't get me wrong, I think he's a good wrestler, and I like Roman Reigns, to an extent. I just don't love how he's constantly being shoved down our throats. And again, like, these are just opinions that a ton of people share. But to go him Lashley, and I think they severely overestimated Lashley's popularity. Like, I think that they thought that they were going to bring Lashley back and people were going to go bananas for him. And the truth is, nobody gives a shit about Bobby Lashley. I'm saying that right now. Nobody gives a shit about Bobby Lashley. I don't care about him. And again, I don't think he's a bad wrestler. I'm not trying to like dump on his skills. He's a very good wrestler, and he looks like $1 million. He can't talk for shit on the mic. He is so uninteresting to me. Like, what is that matchup going to be like? Lesnar and Lashley in the main event at SummerSlam? Ugh, hate it. I hate it. The only thing that will save it is when Braun inevitably cashes in and becomes Universal Champion. Like, he should be. He should have been Universal Champion by now. But Brock is not around. He's not around. He's over in UFC. And I can say a few things about Brock. I think it's bullshit. I don't know, man. I get the cross promotion thing, but nobody who is like a hardcore UFC fan, nobody gives a shit about pro wrestling, like, in the UFC. Like, this whole bullshit thing where he's gonna show up to fight DC wearing the Universal Championship. Like, that's a made up championship for those guys. Like, those guys don't take that seriously at all. Like, why would he do that? Why would he show up to the Octagon wearing the Universal Championship? It's like, even to me, a diehard pro wrestling fan, and I like MMA, obviously, to a point, but not like I used to. But, like, even to me, I'm like, that's silly. Like, that's fucking dumb, right? Come on. Like, those guys don't care about that title. They will just say, oh, this is real fighting. Like, this is the only belt that matters, blah, blah, blah. So I don't really get it. I think it's silly. Is it a good marketing tool for WWE? I think WWE is getting way more out of it than the UFC is. It's so strange to me. So Brock got in the Octagon and, like, threatened DC, and allegedly they're gonna fight. Who knows? I don't think it's even been signed yet, but they're gonna fight at some point. But yeah, that SummerSlam main event, Lesnar versus Lashley or Reigns, will suck unless Braun shows up like at the beginning of the match and just destroys everyone and wins. That's the only saving grace that main event has, to send some people home happy. What else? I thought AJ Rusev was good. I thought it was a good match. Really good match. It was good to see Rusev kind of step up his game a little bit. He's a guy who we've all had high hopes for, and we all know that he can go. He's kind of constantly being stalled out. And it was nice to see him go up against AJ, who's arguably, still the best wrestler in the world, some people say. But I think it's great. I thought it was a good match. Dolph versus Seth main eventing, I thought was really cool in its own right. Because this is a match that you're like, well, where does this get placed on the card? It's obviously a barn burner. It's gonna be close to a 5-star match. Where do you put it? Because before the show started, I assumed that Lashley Reigns was gonna main event that. I just assumed, because Reigns always finds himself there. They have a lot of stock in Lashley. That's just where I figured that match would be placed. But they chose Ziggs and Rollins, and I thought that was a great decision. They went, a 30-minute Ironman match, and Dolph ends up winning with some assistance from McIntyre, which I thought was great. And I love this role for McIntyre. I know he came out on Raw to kind of confront everybody when they were doing that big jumble and they were deciding those 3-way matches. But I like Drew where he's at right now. I would like to see him at least vie for some kind of title. Obviously not the IC belt, but like because I like him with Ziggs. But if he did go get something, that would be really cool. Or even if him and Ziggs went after the tag belts, I think that would be really neat. I like the rare instance of 2 titles on one guy. I like that. I think it's a little too soon for McIntyre for the Universal title. It would be cool. Don't get me wrong, it would be totally cool for him to be the Universal Champion and Ziggs be the IC Champion. That would be, if the comparisons to HBK and Big Daddy Cool Diesel weren't plentiful enough, that would seal the deal right there. But I still think it would be a cool picture to have McIntyre the Universal and DC Ziggler the IC belt. What else? Current states, I guess. I don't know, man. I dig Daniel Bryan and Kane. I dig that Team Hell No is back. They should change it to Hell Yes, though, right? Because like he hasn't done the no stuff in a long time, and the Yes movement really took off. So, but who knows? These are just semantics. These are just little things that I come up with. I like it. It's a good spot, I think, for Daniel Bryan. Because it kind of keeps him out of the title picture. It kind of protects him a little bit. He's still, I don't want to say getting back into shape, because I mean he looks like $1 million and he's wrestling like $1 million, and I love his whole thing where he's just going to tap you out with a different move every match. I think that's such a cool gimmick, I guess, if you even want to call it a gimmick. But I just think it's a cool way to wrestle, where a submission can come out of nowhere. And Kane, I love Kane. Like, I think Kane is really funny in this type of role. It's a little fish out of water, obviously, because he got like the mask and he's gigantic, but they play off each other really, really well. Made me laugh really hard when they started disagreeing and they started building the whole like, yes, no thing. But before that, Daniel Bryan was like, you tried to kidnap my wife, and Kane was like, oh yeah, tried, he's like trying to get out of it. It's very funny. Kane has a great sense of humor. And I think he's, first ballot Hall of Famer all the way, when his days are done, which, I mean, should be soon, because, I mean, he's getting up there. He just is, just got elected, governor? Mayor? I don't know, something. But Kane's awesome. I think Kane is fantastic, and I like them together. I don't know how much longer they'll be together. I hope it doesn't end with like a feud, because I've seen them feud so much, and that actually was kind of like, it was near when Daniel Bryan had to take a break there. It's like those tombstones just, I don't think helped him. So. I like that. I like the pairing there. The Bludgeon Brothers, I think, are cool. I think, I was a little skeptical about them at first. I was like, how long is this going to last? But they've held on to the titles, which I think is a good spot for them, kind of at the top. I don't know who's going to knock them off. I like that they're not, like, superhuman. I like that, I don't know if it was Daniel Bryan. No, I don't think it was Daniel Bryan. It was somebody, like, Harper got rolled up recently, like on one of these last episodes of SmackDown, within the last month, he got like rolled up. It might have been against New Day, maybe. I can't remember quite what it was, but he got rolled up and got pinned. So it's like, so they are beatable, which I do like that, and it's something that I dislike when people, when they build people to make them seem unstoppable, like kind of like what Braun's doing right now. Like Braun's just unstoppable. That nobody can touch him. I don't love that. I like to see like the chink in the armor and have somebody try to expose it. It's just a matter of exposing it. Like that's kind of the challenge. So I do like the Bludgeon Brothers and where they're going, because they do seem beatable, but still pretty badass in their own right. Ronda's still on 30-day suspension, but she can just like go and sit in the crowd and watch a show, I guess. I don't know. I don't get that at all. I don't know what that's all about. It's just so weird. We're just going to have her sit in the crowd for 30 days. Super weird. In the meantime, I think Alexa Bliss is just doing like some tag stuff against Nia. Yeah, that's about it. I don't know. I think I'm pretty much tapped out. Yeah. I don't know. That's about it. I know, like I said, it's kind of hard to keep going on and rambling. But anyway, that's my thoughts on wrestling, and that's my thoughts on upcoming shows around here. Like I said, we got those two shows. We got the Vacationland Cup coming up on the 27th. Then we got Let's Wrestle on August 17th. We will be at both of them, and we'll be doing commentary for Let's Wrestle. So get your tickets if you haven't already, which you should be. If you haven't, I'm going to try and guilt trip you into getting your tickets very soon. Get them now. What are you guys doing? Stop listening to this and get them now. You can do both at the same time. You can listen to this and get them. I mean, technology is crazy. So, but anyway, that's it. That's the show. I'm sure you guys have missed Harmon by now. Sorry. Again, like I said, this could be the lowest rated show ever. So, let me know how we did. Let me know how I did going solo, John Solo over here on the Main Event Pod. Let me know via hotline, via social media. That hotline again, 929-260-3099. And we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Main Event Pod. I'm personally on Twitter at Johnny Fashion. You guys can hit me up there if you have a more direct personal attack on my commentary or my this episode going solo. Harmon, if you want to tweet out at him, he's at Harmon316 because he's a badass, and that's the bottom line. And that's all he has to say about that. At Harmon316. God, I miss him because this is tough to do alone. Anyway, that's it. Harmon, thanks for not joining me. Listeners at home, thanks for listening. We'll catch you later.
Talking about wrestling from today and the past. It's gonna be a blast. Johnny and Harmon are the Main Event Podcast.